the single lesson that I hope the 49ers have taken away from first half to the 2024 season is stop negotiating so late. Let's hop into the big topic, is the lesson that I hope the 49ers not just have learned, but apply to future seasons. Now, the lesson so far of this year could be interpreted in many different ways, right? You could say, well, the lesson is, hey, draft well, get a good rookie class. That's really helping the 49ers this year. Well, drafting well is really not a lesson as much as it is the goal, the hope of every offseason. You can't really control the draft any more than evaluating, picking, and then hoping that player fits. It's really not completely in the control of the San Francisco 49ers. So that's really not the lesson. Well, how about the lesson that, special teams is officially like a third of a football team, and look at the damage done to the other 2/3 of your football team by this 1/3 of your football team, which for whatever reason is not prioritized, is not circled, highlighted, and italicized as a point of emphasis or concern. And it's mind-numbingly painful to see how bad year in, year out the 49ers are on special teams. And we're really not even talking about the guys who do the kicking, the punter or the kicker. We're talking about kickoff coverage. We're talking about punt coverage. We're talking about limp-wristed returns that don't get you nearly the starting field position that you hope for. It's just one big yawn at best on special teams for the 49ers. But again, the special teams matter is more of like a mantra. It's more of a philosophy you'd like your coaching staff to adopt. And even if you do adopt it, it is not guaranteed to win. You are still at the mercy of how a football game plays out, and weird things happen on every Sunday in every football game. So there really isn't a lesson. Geez, let's concentrate more on that. Probably going to serve you well if you do that. Neither of those things are, to me, the priority of what this coming offseason needs to look like for the 49ers, and the lesson that they need to apply to themselves to have total control of this moment. And it's a moment that I think they let slip them in the name of, I don't know, this is how we do things. This is tradition. This is stubbornness. I don't know. The single lesson that I hope the 49ers have taken away from a stop-start first half to the 2024 season is stop negotiating so late in a player's window on a player of impact who you know you're going to bring back. Like, I could see how the Brandon Ayuk situation was we really don't know what we're going to do. There's what we kind of want to do. There's the price that we want to do it at. There's his desire to maybe be on another team. There's our desire to maybe move on from the player. We don't, Brandon Ayuk came with a lot more moving parts than he wants more money and we want to keep him. Trent Williams came with no more moving parts than that. We definitely want to retain him. That's 100% agreed upon. He wants a little bit more money. So what are we going to do? We're going to negotiate really hard with the player that we cannot do without. And then at the end of that negotiation, what did the Niners really save? They saved nothing. They're paying sticker price. They're paying a premium for Trent Williams, and that's fine. But that price, I'm sure, could have been agreed upon in week 1 of his holdout rather than the last day of his holdout. I don't understand. And if you're saying, well, Trent didn't want to participate in an awful lot of the preseason, fine. Then he doesn't have to. But sign him and get him in and get it done and get him healthy and have him not looking like half the Trent Williams he used to have in some of these games, which have turned into losses. The 49ers, with their offseason negotiations, saved no money with Trent Williams nor Brandon Ayuk. But what they did do is buy themselves losses, easy to avoid losses, because I do believe that a not ready to go right from game one. Trent Williams has affected this season just a bit. And certainly, you weren't even getting anything out of Brandon Ayuk right until he hurt himself. And now you're going to get nothing out of Brandon Ayuk. Like, the only sunny side up of the Brandon Ayuk injury is it really shouldn't affect this year based on what we've seen so much so far, because he hasn't done jack. Why hasn't he done that? Why has this determined $30 million a year player gotten off to such a slow start? Well, maybe it's because he missed all of the offseason. And oh, by the way, while he was missing all of the offseason, not only were you actively, as a football team, stunting a player's ability to hit the ground running in week one, but the bad vibes, just to avoid them. Like, we heard that the 49ers, when it comes to these contracts, are just a slow-moving team. Like, George Kittle talked about that the 300 times that he was asked about the Brandon Ayuk situation. Well, they just move slow. They're slow to negotiate. They don't do it early in the process. They do it late in the process. They don't want players injured with the new contract, so they do it late, just the way they do business. Go get another way of doing business. That's the lesson that I hope you apply to other seasons coming forward. No, I'm not talking about make sure you get your 9th offensive lineman signed and happy and all that stuff, but a starter, someone who you need, someone who is nothing to discuss here. Of course, we're retaining him. Get that player retained faster. That is totally in the Niners' control. Look, the Niners' way of doing business has directly cost them wins this season. Like the Bosa holdout from years ago, that was a warning that they chose to ignore. Trent Williams, again, he's been unusually sloppy so far this year, and Brandon Ayuk's production sucked before he got hurt, and now that he's hurt, you don't even get that. Now, I don't think that his training camp would have prevented his knee getting ripped apart, but who knows? They saved no money in these harsh, careful negotiations. They protected no flank in these harsh, careful, long, just ongoing negotiations. They saved no money. They circled no wagons. And if they did, they circled them around nothing. And they did it all to give the players the deal that still come with a degree of sticker shock that means, well, why didn't you just give this number on the first day? Now, I know that Ayuk was given a number and he thought about it for a month and all that happening too, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The 49ers just got to approach players that they decide that we're, of course, keeping this player and get them signed. Get it done early. Just stop stunting your own offseason growth or progress. And I feel like they did a massive job with it. So next year, don't do it. Have player, sign player. That should be the new formula going forward. That should be the 49ers' new business model, not how crafty and late in the game can Parag get this done. Have player, sign player. Try that. And have Mike Silver writing something other than about bad vibes for 4 straight months. Wouldn't that be nice? Sounds like a great idea to me to go forward with. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.